Yo, CJ. Hey.
Why'd you come back when it's like -50 outside and there's snowmageddon?
What can I
Look,
say, man?
you take after our team, huh? Making mistakes left, right, and center.
Yeah, bro. I was gonna say, bro, your timing is just as bad as Yonkers' runs into the box.
Wow, bro. Why is that the guy catching strays instantly?
Yeah.
That's crazy. Listen, man, leave Alcaraz alone. I was on the beach in Mexico watching this guy bust net top corner in the Champions League. Okay, so let's just leave him alone for a second. He's not going to be the start of the criticism today. That's for sure.
Wait,
Okay.
wait, before we get into that, how was your trip, bro? How was your trip? We need to talk about this.
Yeah, it was nice, man. It was nice. As I was telling you guys off air, I met a few people. I met another lovely couple and one guy from the UK who's also an Arsenal fan. So shout out to him. Hope you're listening. Hope you're watching. And that's what we do. We try and go international and network and whatnot, connect with other football fans. And yeah, it was nice. I got the little recharge that I needed. And we come back to this shit weather and shit performance today from the boys. It is what it is. I was on the beach, funny enough, last Saturday as well, watching the Forest game, the nil-nil draw, and I was obviously talking to you guys in the group chat whilst I was there doing that. And after that game, had me feeling like I needed to jump into the ocean and swim with the sharks and have a few drinks. After today, fuck, I don't know. I'm gonna be having to go jump in the snow and fucking swim outside by myself, catch hypothermia, and fucking off myself, bro. Because what the fuck was that today, man?
I
Like this
can
is what I'm
build a
coming back to.
snowman.
Fuck's sakes, man. But no, thanks for asking. Overall, the trip was good, and yeah, glad to be back with you boys and getting to the football talk.
I'm just glad you're back, so I don't have to just fucking deal with Laurent the entire pod. At least you know, I can chat with someone who's actually knowledgeable, who understands the game.
I will say this. I will say this that good thing you are back for this spot. Could you would have been like my only target in terms of all ammunitions that I will be unleashing in
Mm,
this podcast. So now at least you have someone there to share the stories with you.
mm.
Hmm.
Yo, Laurent, what kind of energy are you gonna come with on this pod? By the way, I'm just curious. Like, were you gonna come? Do we need to get our bulletproof vests, or are we just gonna all have like a therapy session and just openly discuss what's going on?
I mean, yeah, we are going to discuss, but the questions are going to be hard hitting. I will say that because for when we want the answers, the fans want answers. The Manu fans want an apology, specifically one named Julian. Okay, Julian Davis. For those of you who don't know, he has been mentioned quite a few times on this podcast. More so to the detriment of his team and their performance. And now I would like to give the floor to Murdad to, explain to us whether or not those words still hold up in
Hundred
present time.
percent, 100%. They hold up. Two performances in a span of 4, 5 years does not undo the shambolic stature of Manchester United. It's two performances,
At
and
what
there's
one of them, which is sorry, but one of them which is at what is considered to be an impenetrable fortress.
100%.
But
And I
that
think it says more
fortress,
about
mhm.
what we didn't do than what they did.
Listen, what they did was a guy named Dorku. Listen, you guys tell me if
What was the last time he scored a goal like that? Tell me. I'll wait.
I know I see what you're saying, and I feel like that kind of adds to the point where he does this at your home. You see what I'm saying? Like for him to, you guys allowed that at your home? Like, come on, man. You guys basically watched him do that.
Yeah,
And that passenger play,
but
you have to
wait,
admit
wait,
was
hold on. What
sublime.
did you just say? We watched him do that.
But funny enough, when I watched the replay, and mind you, I think I must have seen that replay for that passenger play between him and Bruno Fernandez, quite a number of times. And when we use the word watch, I think it's because your players were dazzled at just the one-touch football, one, two, control, and then
And the back line just dropped deep. They didn't step up like we're used to seeing them, right?
mm,
Mateus Cunha, he has that in his back pocket. Like
oh, for
again,
the third one.
yeah, like Gabriel Saliba, like what are you doing, Declan Rice? Where are you? I mean, I guess we're getting into it. Welcome back, episode 77. CJ is back. Kicking it off with Arsenal's 3-2 loss to Manchester United. For context of things, Arsenal's first loss at the Emirates this season. So Sunderland is the only undefeated team in at home this
That's
season so
crazy.
far. Yeah. Um, but and I messaged this to you guys. I'll just say this before I hand it over to CJ. Three losses this year for Arsenal to put into perspective. First loss away at Liverpool due to a Dominic Szoboszlai worldie. Could we have done better? I mean, there's nothing you can do about the free kick. But could Zubamendi have not been so boneheaded and made that tackle at that position? Probably. But again, a worldy goal undid our game. It could have gone. A fair result for that game would have been a 0-0 draw. And anybody says otherwise, you're out of your fucking mind. Second loss due to Emi Buendia. Like, it was against a run of play out of nowhere. Buendia comes. Again, could we have done something better? Of course. The way that game went against Villa, it was on us not managing it properly. And the third loss stings a lot more because it's against our biggest rival. You know, Zubamendi. Like, what are you doing? That was the first goal. Patrick Dorgu, you'll never score like that ever again in your life. Mateus
Listen,
Cunha,
I don't know, man. I don't know. I wouldn't say that.
he will never. I'm willing to bet my entire life that Patrick Dorgu will never score like that again. And this year, this time next year, he will not even be a Manchester United player or even
Mm.
starting.
Damn.
If you're talking about the levels of Manchester United, you're playing Patrick Dorgu as left wing. Shall I start naming the left wingers of Manchester United and then you tell me where he is ranked in the list of the players that United have? Don't get me started with this conversation because I'll wipe the floor with you.
Wow, wait. So hold on. Okay, first off, right? Let's not try to throw shade at the player on a day where he had an extreme performance. Because he played well.
I wouldn't
And
say extreme.
he played well.
He played well, but don't like don't pull an Esteval with this bullshit, you know?
I mean, listen. Obviously, right? Given even today's game with Chelsea, you can already see that Esteval is in a category of his own, right? We'll get there once we cover the Chelsea game. But in terms of Patrick Dorgu, I will say, and more so, what was really surprising was even after that goal, you can sense it's almost like he was developing that ability with his, with his feet to be able to get himself into those positions. He had another strike on goal, off target, but damn, bro, if you guys seen the venom in that strike,
Mm-hmm.
anyhow, that was placed on target, right? That's a trouble for the keeper, right? And that's you would say what mostly like a defensive type of player, in a sense. Um, but
He's a wing back. No. He's an attacking
yeah,
back.
but again, I do feel like even when we use that, like you don't expect him to be able to, come into these positions and even create for himself like that, right? So that was good to see. That was good to see, and I don't know if you're about your comment about him not being there next season, um, because it seems like the fans are starting to fall for him.
It's not out of hate. It's not out of hate. It's about being realistic because I'm saying that with the context of United being in a Champions League spot, and if you're Manchester United and you're going into the Champions League, respectfully, Patrick Dorgu cannot be your starting left winger.
It's
So
fair.
he's not going to be there next year, and I'll live by the sword on that comment. He's not going to be there.
Well, time will tell. Time will
Hmm.
tell. But yeah, no. Other than that, in terms of your performance, I'd say more so. Okay, let's go attacking front, right? Because I know, yes, you did have defensive lapses. That goal, right? You mentioned Zubimendi. That was a mistake, trying to play out from the back. Um, just going forward, did you guys like what you see? I mean, he made four substitution, a quadruple substitution at one point, right? I don't think I've seen that in quite a
Because he
long
got the
time.
lineup wrong. Got, got the lineup wrong.
I don't know. I don't know. Jesus started, which was
Wrong.
expect. No, I swear you
Wrong.
mentioned
I
last
did.
that
I
he should
did.
that he should start, right? Given his recent performances, the way Jesus was playing, you're not going to start Gyökeres over Jesus in a game like this, in my opinion, right? Anyone disagree?
I disagree.
Okay.
Off merit, Jesus should have started, but off the context of the game and the players that you're going up against, and the way that Gyökeres occupies central defenders, he should have started. Because Harry Maguire, as much as United fans ripped on him and death threats and telling him to off himself and telling him to leave, that man stuck around and he's been vital for their resurgence. From the EFL Cup to Europa, he's been there. And, that was the game that Gyökeres should have started, and Jesus should have come on late to cause havoc when the players are tired, not the other way around. I don't know, CJ, if you agree with me or not, but that's my take on it.
Mm. So wait, hold on. I just want to clarify something. So last pod, Laurent, Murdad, both of you, was there a discussion that Jesus should have been starting in this game?
I'm pretty sure, like, because I think you went over the starting lineups, right?
Yeah,
That's
I'm
something.
just pulling it up right now. So my starting 11 had exactly the lineup that we saw. The only difference was that I had Ben White and Timber as the wingback, sorry. And it was Timber and Nkapia because I didn't know that he was going to be fit. But my front line was Trossard, Jesus, and Saka.
Oh, okay. Oh, so you did have Jesus starting.
Yeah, because I'm like, like I'm trying to expect what he's going to do,
Mm.
not what I want to see because you weren't here to rebuttal it. So I'm just like, let me just go with what I think. Uh,
The
um,
genius. What do you mean? The genius that is the Arteta, bro? Like the guy that's gotten you thus far, right? With this many leads, point lead in the league, competing in all four fronts of all competitions on said day. This is the guy, right? So let's
I
not
fucking
try
hate
to
Laurent.
I
nah,
mean,
You
again,
know that. I hope you know. By the way, that's not you. You know you can't be directing that towards me because you know
huh?
I've had a different energy for Arteta for a long time. So
Yeah, no. So I'm saying
okay.
that in response to Murad, right, and him inferring in terms of the lineup, right? But that lineup that he picked, I don't think was a bad lineup going forward, right? Given the recent performances, you'd want Trossard, right? And then even Jesus, like, bro, this guy has I think deserved to start, and then obviously you have Saka, right? So
you're not wrong, but also if you're the manager of a football club, you also have to take into account the players that he's going to be going up against. You saw the last game that Harry Maguire faced against Erling Haaland. Mind you, Haaland looked leggy, and I think it was more the fact that Haaland was leggy rather than Maguire doing the business on him.
mm.
Like, you have to take that into account, and that's where I'm saying that he got it wrong. Yes,
So you're saying mhm,
off merit, you're
mm.
100% right. It should have been Jesus because Jesus, every time that he's been given an opportunity, he's, you know, ran with it and he's played well. But when you're going up against a back line and even a central defensive midfielder in Casemiro that's physical, you want to have a physical body in there causing havoc. So, as much as yes, I am an Arteta truther, he got the lineup wrong in my opinion. The front line.
Mm. Okay, now what? Well, so I mean, Gyökeres comes in, and and I think, yo, I swear we had even this discussion last week, but because there was instances where it was it Martinez? Is it that's their
Yeah,
yeah, where Martinez was on Gyökeres, and it looked like, yo, he was giving Gyökeres a bit of trouble, um, just in terms of how his aggressive nature, right? That he's so, and that's when they were tired, right? Gyökeres is fresh. So I mean, even Gyökeres coming, like, did you guys see that Gyökeres was doing what he was supposed to do, finding himself in the right situations, causing that danger to the back line?
yeah, but I mean, like, you're coming onto the game at the 67th minute or whatnot. The players are in the rhythm of the game. They know exactly, like, there has to be something set to that piece. I think what Arteta got wrong is Gyökeres should have come on right at the 45th minute, like right at halftime. Gyökeres should have come on.
Jeez, a half-type sub, eh?
Yes, because we looked terrible. We looked absolutely terrible. Even though it was 1-1, we looked terrible. Jesus had no sniff. He couldn't do anything. You had no target man. Trossard couldn't play off of him. Saka had no target. I don't know. Like that's my feel. I may be overreacting, but I'm curious. The man who's fresh hasn't been shoveling snow, hasn't been here in the Arctic weather. CJ, tell us.
Mm. Um, yeah, I mean, just after listening to you guys talk, I just gathering my thoughts from a different perspective. So, I'm just gonna spend a few minutes talking on it, really, and then kind of get your guys' opinion on it. But my overall, I mean, if I'm gonna assess the game, and I'm gonna start with the negatives, and then I'll end on the positive, because every problem needs a solution, right? We always got to find solutions. But I'll start with the negatives, of course, and honestly, today was a big game in the title race for a number of reasons. And I think today you're now seeing what's been kind of coming for a while, in terms of our performances. Up to this point, our performances haven't even been the greatest on the eye test, but we're getting results in all competitions. But I think the three of us can agree, and I hope most people who watch the game with their eyes out there will agree that the football has not been great so far this season. It's not the traditional Arsenal that we've come to know, even under Wenger, right? In the old days of Arsenal playing the best football in the league. Now I understand in Wenger's latter years, we had good footballers and we had players who can bop around the pitch, and the football was nice to watch, but it wasn't winning anything. Now we're in a position where we're top of the league and top of all leagues and in semifinals of the cups and whatnot. We've gotten to this point, so that means he's doing something right, because we've gotten to this point, despite the fact that we're not playing pretty football. But once the results stop, right, then that's when you got to question everything. And again, this has been coming for a while, and I mean that in the sense that we're winless in the Premier League in 3 now. We drew 2 blanks prior to this game, right? 0-0 at home against Liverpool, against a poor Liverpool side with no strikers on the pitch, and Nottingham Forest side who's struggling in the lower half of the table, right? So that brings us to this game, which means that those results and this result, a loss was coming. A loss that required a rude awakening was coming. And in some senses, I'm glad, I guess, that it comes at home, right? Where we're supposed to be imperious at home, and this, because there's been this false sense of security that what we're doing right now is great and it's working and whatnot. But this should be the real wake up call, I think. And I'm glad this comes in January when there's still time to rectify things, one way or another, right? Whether that's going into the January window, I don't know. Whether it's changing your tactics around, but I'm not happy with what I'm watching at the moment in terms of how we're playing, and that's why this result was always going to come, because we play. I'm going to just be blunt, and that's what we do on this pod. We don't sugarcoat anything, or at least I'm not here to do that. We play football like Burnley at the moment. Look at the goals that we scored today. It's set pieces, bro. Own goal has been our top scorer for the last 2 months.
Yeah.
Like, what are we doing here, bro? The amount of own goals we're scoring, and yes, I understand you have to, own goals come from a team applying a lot of pressure, right? So, I mean, yeah, own goals still count as goals. They all count the same. And kudos to us. That means you're applying a lot of pressure and forcing other teams into errors or mistakes or whatever. But, I mean, you're not going to win a league by own goals alone, You're not going to win a league by set pieces alone. I'm sorry. Like, You're just not. Our set pieces are good and they work for us, right? But what happens when Laurent has said this for a while? What happens when the set pieces dry up? And it looks good in Europe and in cup competitions because teams have to come out in cup competitions, right? In a one-off game, you have to go at each other. You have to go on. But in the Premier League, over a marathon of a season, teams are finding us out, right? Teams play us differently in the Premier League because you don't have to come out and win the game, right? Teams on the lower end of the table or teams that know they don't have the same level of quality as us, and I do the air quotations for those to the audio listeners, they can sit in deep because you can still get points in the Premier League by not winning games. You can come to the Emirates and get a draw and whatnot, and that's considered a good point. And United had nothing to lose today. The onus is on us to win, and it seems like in the Premier League, teams have figured out how to play us, you know, and so we don't look good from open play at all. Yeah, I'm sorry, and maybe I don't know. I could be exaggerating slightly. Maybe not. Maybe saying we don't look good at all is an over exaggeration, but it's just like it's the same old shit. It's the same old shit. It's slow. It's lethargic. It's sideways. It's like there's that lack of that real direct. The penetration. It's poor, and you see it on the first goal. I'm gonna drop this in the group chat for you guys right now so you can see. But essentially, it starts from the first goal in the sense that, right, if you look at this image, and I'm just going to put it on the screen quickly. It's a quick glance for anyone so they can see as well, right? This is the image that I have on screen here. Right, and it starts with Saliba at the back with the ball at his feet. And for you guys, Murad and Laurent, you guys can look at it in the group chat itself. It's like look at the tactics we're employing, right? And I saw this against Liverpool at home, and I saw this many times this season at home. So Zubimendi is in the right back position there, right? Timber, that on the right, on the low right side of the screen, Timber is high up the pitch, which I've questioned many times to you guys of what kind of tactic we're trying to employ when Timber is that high. So Timber is that high, which means Zubimendi has dropped in deep to literally be almost on top of Saliba. As soon as Saliba has received that ball from David Raya, that open space in the middle there, where is our midfield? That's where Zubimendi should be. Zubimendi should be in the middle to receive that ball from Saliba, and Timber should be tucked in as a right back to receive the ball as an outlet on the right-hand side of Saliba. Instead of Timber being on Saliba's right, Zubimendi's there because Timber's high up the pitch, and therefore Saliba's expecting that midfield option in that gap that we're seeing around the halfway line. Nobody's there, but that's technically, like I said, where Zubimendi should be. Right? Zubimendi should be in that space. Timber should have dropped in on the right, basically on the right shoulder of Saliba to be in that space, right? That's where your right back should be. Timber should be providing that option. That's just maybe my old school way of thinking, but that's where your right back needs to be when we're in possession of the ball. Your midfielder needs to be in midfield. Your right back needs to be on the right shoulder of Saliba there when he has the ball. So I think what happens in this situation is that Saliba, well, as soon as you receive that ball from Raya, he's looking for his options because you expect, as I keep saying, your midfielder to be there. Your midfielder's not there. Zubimendi's not there. Zubimendi's in the right shoulder of Saliba now, essentially. And he's almost on top of him at that point, right? So Saliba's like thinking, shit. So he's kind of panicking now because his usual option is not there where it should be. Zubimendi dropped that deep to get the ball. The pass into him, it was Zubimendi's fault, like out and out, through and through. You're a Spanish international footballer, that has to be better there. But the pass to him from Saliba was not great. The problem is that Zubimendi had made up his mind before Saliba even gave him the ball, right? Zubimendi said, okay, if that ball comes to me, I'm just going to play it back to Raya. But that's not how you should operate as a professional footballer. You have to judge how the ball's going to get to you. If the ball's a shit pass, you have to anticipate that you're going to need to do something else. Maybe take a touch, blah, blah, blah. But Zubimendi looks like he's anticipating, even before the ball gets to him, I'm going to play this ball back to Raya. But the pass from Saliba was not great. It was bobbling a little bit, right? It wasn't a clean pass to him. It was a bit of a shit pass, which therefore Zubimendi, because he already made up his mind to go back to the keeper, he's like, it's kind of like, well, no matter how this ball comes to me, I'm going to play back to Raya. And he was off balance when he made the pass. And then obviously we know what happens next, right? But still, most of that error is on Zubimendi, of course. You're the one that made the pass. I'm not excusing him from that. But again, Saliba, his pass to him wasn't great. Again, Saliba's under pressure because guys aren't in the positions that they should be. Saliba should just be able to roll that ball into midfield through that gap where Zubimendi really should be, and then we should continue to play from there. So I think that was kind of problem number one. And the reason why I bring that up is because, again, we saw this in the Liverpool game at home as well, is why are our midfielders Ødegaard does it too. Why are all of our midfielders dropping so deep, literally holding hands with our center backs to get the ball? When we need to be high up the pit, we need to get forward. We need to play balls in through the lines and then turn and play, right? Like, why do our midfielders need to drop that deep to receive the ball? Do you know what I mean? I don't understand the tactics we're trying to employ there, right? We should be playing.
Well, to answer that question, right? Usually
Mm,
when you do have a midfielder playing in that position, almost like a center back, and then
mm,
you ask your that defensive player to push up, right? Um, it's more so in terms of the ball delivery. And I think even Maresca has employed it, right? And you're seeing this in modern football, right? Where you have that eight or that six, right?
mm,
That is coming in at that center back because he has that ability to then spray the ball forward. You see what I'm saying?
mm.
Um, and yeah, so I think that's what he was hoping to do with that, right? But yes, that gap in the middle, if he's not there, I think who's it, Rice?
Declan
Mm-hmm.
Rice.
Yeah, it would have to be a Rice, someone that yeah, because that's bro, like there's no one in there, and then all their players are ahead of you, so that pass isn't even on from Saliba, right? Unless someone else is making a run.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, sorry, didn't mean to
No,
cut
what?
you off.
No. I'm glad. No, you bring the point. That's what I want, right? I want to, get different perspectives because maybe it's just me, and that's why we're having this open discussion. But
Mm,
from what I'm seeing, and you're right, it is some tactics that Maresca employed as well, and I'm noticing teams will do it. Right, you'll get their holding midfielder, their number six, quite deep, and then push their players on. Right, the fullbacks will push on, and the center backs will spread wide and all that. Like I get that, but I mean, if you're gonna do it, right, do it correctly because the whole team has to be switched on now, right? If Zubimendi has
Yes.
gone dropped that deep, then Rice has to recognize, or Odegaard's got to recognize right away to get into that open pocket of space, right? It's got to be a well-oiled machine in terms of everybody's got to play their role in that instance, and that's what's so particular about these. But I when it works, it's good. When it doesn't look good at all. And I don't like it in that sense because again, I think that we need to be more direct. We need to be playing. We play too laterally, right? Like there's no need for Odegaard as my number 8 to come and drop in that deep to get the ball off of Saliba. There's no need like the way Liverpool and Klopp have played Salah and them over the years, Salah and Mane. They don't play as wingers who are on the halfway line and receive the ball to the back to goal. They receive the ball into space down the touchline. All right, our wingers receive the ball with their back to goal. Trossard all the time receives the ball with his back to goal, getting kneed and elbowed in his back. Saka the same. It's like we're not direct enough. We guys that drop in so deep, whether it's our wingers, whether it's our midfielders, they play almost on top of our defenders at times, and everybody is so deep. The striker's isolated, and it's just slow. Then that's what I mean. Like we're not direct enough. We don't get the ball in between the lines quick enough. I think that's fair to say, right? We don't
Yeah.
get that ball in between the lines quick enough, turn and play, and so it's easy for teams to come in and set up against us in that sense, and that's where I think that's the first goal anyways, but I think it was important. I wanted to bring that up because that's a live example, right? An error that led to a goal that we see common all the time when we play. It's just how deep and slow we are out of the back. Our center backs get the most touches of the ball in games because it's just, we'll play back. Saliba will play to Gabriel. Gabriel will play back to Saliba side to side. And it's like, it's just a slow build up. And I think it stems from that. But overall, guys, like overall for me, again, it has to be, it's a system thing, right? It really is a system thing. We had limited shots on goal, right? Like Manu was comfortable. People were saying we played well in that first half. I mean, we did okay, but was Manu really troubled in their box? Not really. You know what I mean? Like, and even in the second half, just overall in the game, we just didn't do enough to trouble them in the areas that count. And I think that comes back down to the system, right? We can sign Ezes and we can sign Gyökeres, and it's almost kind of like you can go and get Mbappe if you want. But if the system is the same, we mentioned this before in previous podcasts because we've talked about many strikers who have been at Arsenal Football Club since Arteta's been here, and we haven't been able to get the best tune out of our strikers because our system is not built for an out and out striker. It's just not.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? We play around our striker, and then our tactics start to get the ball out wide. Fullbacks will overlap, or Ødegaard will overlap on the outside of Saka, and then play that ball down the channel, ball into the box. It's just the same. Like, why doesn't anybody ever have a pop from outside the 18? We saw it on show today with United. Why doesn't anyone ever just have a shot? Why do we always have to walk the ball into the box? Why do we always have to play the ball overlap? The fullback overlaps, and then you cut the ball from the byline into the box, low and hard, into the box, and it's just the same. It's the same kind of stuff we always see. It's U-shaped football. It's from one winger around to the midfield to the other side of the other winger, and it's never down through the middle. It's never, I don't know, a driving run
It's
from midfield shot on
safe.
target. It's that's what it is.
It's safe. It's not direct. It's safe. And you're starting to see what Martin Keown was talking about with Martin Ødegaard. You can't
On what?
have the leader that's supposed to take you out to war be having a massive blank like that. And I think that's where we lost it, right? Like you, yes, Gabrielle, yes, Rice, they're part of the committee, they're part of the group, but you're the one wearing the armband, right? Like you see Bruno Fernandez always, working the referee always in their ear, but then you see Ødegaard, yes, Arteta said that he leads by example, but he he had a piss poor game, and I'm shocked that he played for so long, right? And it's becoming the same story over and over again. Like, part of me is like, I was reflecting while I was digging my car out of the snow when I was shoveling, and I'm reflecting. I'm like,
Damn,
are
that sounds like such a head in the shower type moment. You know what I mean? Where
yeah,
you're just
no, but
constantly.
straight up after the game, like I woke up, watched a couple games, and then went and shoveled, and I was just shoveling, and I was in my head, I'm thinking, like, are we being reactionary to one game, one result, because nothing's changed, right? Like we're still atop the Premier League table. We still have I don't want to say comfortable, but we still do have a lead. But are we starting to see trends that, Arteta needs to change something and it's got to change quick, because like playing like this, like shit, Chelsea have a chance in the EFL semifinal. If we play like this,
Wow.
right? Like it's that's how low we're getting to. That's how low the bar's getting to. And when you're not getting it, like I think you messaged when we were watching the game, CJ. You said, now we're gonna see the how serious Arteta and the boys are about winning the Prem. At that point, if you're gonna drop Declan Rice, play two creative players at the same time. Play Ødegaard and play Eze together. As much as I love Marino, he has no pace. And Carrick saw that right away, and that's why he brought Acuna. Right? For Acuna's goal, that was he ran away from who? Marino. Right? Like you're bringing on Gyökeres, you're bringing on Madueke, you're bringing on pace. Put on that creativity and trust your defense, trust Declan Rice. And I think that's the piece that is gonna drive me up the wall because
Yeah,
we're like the one substitute that he did that I actually loved is the fact that he brought on Madueke and he switched Saka and Madueke. Like that was, I was like, okay, I can see what you're trying to do here, but why do like for like subs? We said it last year, we said it the year
yeah.
before we started recording. Why are we constantly doing like for like? Especially at home. I would understand if this was at Old Trafford, but at home, like, go for it. And it's really unfortunate, man. It's really unfortunate the way that we played, and honestly, a lot of questions need to be asked about our system and our captain. Unfortunately,
Yeah, well, again, I'm glad you said that because I'm just putting another thing here in the chat. It's our goal scorers up to this point in the season, right? Um, and again, if we win, it all looks good, right? It all looks fine and rosy for winning games. If we win the Premier League and our leading goal scorer has 5 goals or something silly like that, right? But I dropped what I did in the chat today about let's see who takes the game by the scruff of the neck. Um, it's because every team that has won the Premier League, right, for the most part, you've had that one superstar. You've had that one or two superstars, that player who can do something, um, out of moments of magic, who just drag the team over the line when the team is playing shit, right? Whether it's, in Chelsea's side, it's Drogba, Eden Hazard. Obviously, Arsenal side of the past, it's Thierry Henry, it's Dennis Bergkamp. Man United, it's Rooney, it's Ronaldo. Leicester, when they won it, it's Vardy and Mahrez. Liverpool is Salah. Like, it's somebody, like every title winning team. I don't really recall ever there being a title winning side in the Premier League where you don't have that one superstar quality. And let's be honest, this Arsenal side does not have that one superstar quality. Our back line is world class. 3 or 4 of those guys can get into any team in the world. But in the offensive end, right, you need that one player. And that's what I worry about for us sometimes is we do not have we still don't have that superstardom, right?
Mm-hmm.
That superstar player who's going to carry us over the line when the team is playing shit. It's 0-0, it's 0-0, it's an 89th minute. Who's going to do something mad to just win us the game? You know, we don't have that, right? Up to this point in January, our leading goal scorer has 5 goals in the Premier League. That's Trossard and Gyökeres, right? Our way of thinking, or Arteta's way, is goals by committee. Well, what does that mean? That means everybody chips in for the greater good, right? Sometimes you need that, again, that superstar player in a title winning team or a Champions League winning team, somebody that's going to drag you over the line. Because when goals by committee doesn't work, right? Who's the one person that's going to step up? Who is that guy? Who is him? That's gonna take us over the line. That's what's concerning me at the moment, right? When goals by committee doesn't work, and oh yeah, it's all good. Everybody chips in goals here and there. Rice got 4 or 5 goals. Trossard the same, Gyökeres, but who's going to be the man and help us get over the line? And this is why now this all stems back to Ødegaard, and I'm glad you brought that up, because we're leaning on here. You're the captain of this football club.
Mm-hmm.
When you're getting dragged in the 50 something minute, that's not a good sign. When does Thierry ever get dragged when we were, tight in games? And it was a draw, it was 1-1 or 0-0, and we're trying to look for a win. When does Eden Hazard or Drogba ever get dragged when the game is tight like that? And you're looking for that guy. Your captain in an attacking midfield position is getting dragged in the 50 something minute. Like, again, this is what I talk about. This game, maybe it could either be, this game will either be a turning point for the better for us or for the worse, because heads need to roll, like alarm bells need to go off. If we need to take Ødegaard out of this team in order for us to progress, then so be it. That's your captain, but Arteta, you got to make some ruthless decisions, because I'll take you guys back to October, November times. Do you remember, Murdad, when we were going on that run up until Villa when we lost? We hadn't lost up to like 17 games in all competitions before that. Who was starting in the 10 position? It was Eze, right? For the most part. Ødegaard was injured for the first couple of months of the season. So Eze was holding down that period when we were beating Bayern Munich and we were beating Spurs, slapping them 4-1 and whatnot. That run, Eze was playing a lot of those games because Ødegaard was injured. And we were playing a little bit more direct because Eze is more of a direct player, right? Than Ødegaard is. Ødegaard is so good at making himself look busy. He just buzzes around the pitch. Oh, yeah, I'll pick up the ball from you, Saka, and I'll get the most touches in the game, and I'll make it look like I'm doing something, but all I'm doing is playing it to Saka or playing it side to side, and I'm going to drop in it by the center back and get the ball, but all I'm going to do is lay it off to the left back. I'm not really being direct. You know what I mean?
It's like that meme that you see. It's like when you're at the office, walk really, really fast to act like you're doing something and you're super busy.
Yeah. And it's like, when has Ødegaard this season, for the last 2 years, mind you, when has he earned us points? Like, Eze, yes, he has not been great, but Eze has already earned us crucial points in this Premier League, right? He won that game that we all watched together, that Crystal Palace 1-0 at home when he scored from just outside the box, 1-0, right? That was him who won us that game. The Spurs game, the hat-trick, he won us that game. Man City, when we drew 1-1 at the Emirates, it was Eze's assist, that ball over the top to Martinelli, right? That saved us a draw in that game in the dying embers of the game. So Eze has already contributed so far this season to giving us crucial points. Ødegaard has not, And Tony Adams is I'm starting to say it, bro. Tony Adams is so right. And maybe Martin Keown said it too, but I wanted to pinpoint Tony Adams because he called him out and said it. And sensitive Arsenal fans will say, oh, no, you can't talk like that about. No, man, this is a guy, Tony Adams, he's Mr. Arsenal. He's been there, he's done it. And he said, we will not win a Premier League with Ødegaard as captain. And the captaincy should be with Declan Rice. It sounds harsh, but, bro, so far, all these people that criticize and whatnot, the mentality of Arsenal, all these pundits and whatever that are talking shit, they're correct, right? Because we're stumbling at this moment in time, right? That's 0 wins and 3 in the Prem. And as much as these guys, your Patrick Vieira, I'm seeing it today, and I sent you some stuff too, Murder, that Patrick Vieira and Rio Ferdinand and John Terry and these guys, they're talking shit already after everyone comes out of hiding today, right? All the Man U fans who've been quiet come out of hiding today. Fair play to Man U. They won the game and they deserve the win, but this is why people talk shit about us the way they do, because it's the mentality. It goes back down to mentality. Do we have it? Who's going to get us over the line? Who's going to lead? Is it the coach? Is it the captain? Who's going to be the guy, right? And right now we're in a bit of a slump in the Prem.
I wouldn't even say now. I would say the last 2 times when City dropped points, and we had the opportunity to go ahead. That's where you want your captain to be like, okay, you're all on your phones. You all know what's going on. And those are the type of games where you would see, like, I would imagine you would see someone like Tony Adams being like, before the coach comes in to say, hey, we want to close the door meeting for 5 minutes before the game starts, and before the coach does the talk, be like, everyone knows what the result is. Everyone knows what the job is. If you're not going to do it, tell the coach and sit on the bench. We had two opportunities to make sure that this game, whether we won, lost, or drew, meant nothing. And we lost those two opportunities. And now, this loss, even if it was a draw, it looks 10 times worse,
Mm,
right? Because at one point, we could have been up 12 points.
mm.
So that this would have made it 9,
Yeah.
but it's
And
4.
and again, that's why I mentioned these guys who were, or these Rio Ferdinands, and I think I said Patrick Vieira. I didn't mean to say that. I meant to say Patrice Evra. If I said Patrick Vieira, Patrice Evra of the United Persuasion, former left back, he was coming out and saying, he's the one that famously said Netflix FC, Arsenal's Netflix FC. It's always next season, next season, next season, next season. Um, and this is the kind of fuel that for me when I hear that, I listen to that. Obviously, we're not players, right? We don't go out on the pitch and we can't do it, but as a fan, right, as an Arsenal collective, we like that's the negatives out the way, right? Like we need to stand together now and say, look, at the end of the day, we're still 4 points clear, and we're still in a good
Mm-hmm.
position in all competitions. So all the shit talk now that's going to come out, what the rival fans are going to say, oh, see this Arsenal, this the mentality that Patrice Evra and the likes, they're going to come out and say what they're going to say. And this should now be fuel. Again, as a fan, I know how I'm feeling. I know how you're feeling, Murder. Like, this is fuel. This is motivation that we want to hear to say, okay, well, we will be there in May. So all this that happens in January now, we're going to prove that that was just a one-off game or, all that shit talk about our mentality. You can say it now, but in May, when we're lifting up the trophy, for example, like that's all going to mean nothing, right? That's the motivation that I have. But that's the motivation that these players and the coach need to hear and now take on board. And I do think you're right. Like, I think there should be, I'm sure they will do this, hopefully, but there should now be a meeting in that dressing room, training tomorrow morning. Like, all right, this result was kind of coming. 0-0 against Liverpool, 0-0 against Forest,
Mm-hmm.
and now a loss at home. First time we've lost all season. Like, urgent team meeting, captain call a meeting, somebody call a meeting and say, oh, how is the rest of the season going to pan out? We're still in a fantastic position. We can either capitalize from here and prove everybody wrong, or we can capitulate and this will be the start of the downfall, right? Somebody's got to be that person, and we'll see, right? This is now a test of character, and these players have
Yep.
not been there and done that yet. So this is now going to be a test of character and see where we're at, and no pun intended. We now need to be united as a fan base and as a club, and just be motivated to shut people up because now people are going to start chatting, right? You're going to hear it all week long, and this is going to hurt. This is a painful L. Not going to lie, this is a painful L, and we need to take that on the chin. And I'm already amped for the next game, and the players and the coach and the club should be too, to just put this shit right.
Yeah. And until this iteration of players, the last thing I'll say before, I don't know if Lauren, if you want to add anything before we move on to the Premier League roundup. This iteration of players, until they get it over the line, whatever noise is around the club, they need to take it. Because until you do it, you can't say anything, unfortunately. As much as, we bug Laurent about this, and I'm the number one banter when Laurent speaks up about Arsenal. Like, this iteration of players, until they do it, they can't say anything. Right? Liverpool, 30 years. They won during COVID. Then they won again. They got it over the line. That iteration of players that we're making fun of right now got it over the line twice. So, I don't know, Lauren, did you want to add anything before we move on?
Well, I mean, I don't know. I feel like obviously, I think there is a bit of a reactionary element to it. On one end, in regards to even the aspect of having that one difference maker, that one player, right? That CJ alluded to, it is required in a team, right, to get you over the line in certain games. Apparently, from what I was hearing, it's well with Arteta, that's not the system at the end of the day, right? And hence why he's saying it's the collective, and it's just like right, that's the philosophy of that manager, where he doesn't want it to be just about one individual, right? He and even in terms, I heard apparently you guys are linked to Julian Alvarez. I don't know if you guys heard
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
that.
It's been
Yeah,
2 seasons now.
yeah, yeah. Where it's that's the type of player you guys need, as opposed to if you were to bring in like a big star. Like I think the guy even mentioned like an Mbappe, it wouldn't work, right? Because the philosophy behind the system, behind the structure, doesn't allow for that type of player to flourish, right? But at the end of the day, right? I mean, the results do speak for itself. That system, right? Uh, you're getting goals. It's just they're not coming from one individual, right?
Mm-hmm.
So is that a bad thing? I mean, I don't know. I don't know.
Well, the problem is, like I said, the worrying signs is that look at the last 3 games in the Premier League. Forget the cups for a minute. The last 3 games in the Premier League,
Hmm.
2 blanks prior to today, and then today's goals, 1 own goal, and another set piece. Essentially, really a scrappy. Like I said, that's why I would say we're playing like Burnley. My eyes are bleeding watching this at the moment because,
But
bro, we're literally playing like a relegated side. Like we scored from another scrappy set piece. The ball barely went over the line, and that was our only Premier League goal in 3 games. The other goal today was an own goal. Prior to today, 2 0-0 blanks. So it's
wait.
like
Hmm.
when that dries up, right? What happened? And this is what happens in the crunch time, or even if we meet City in the cup final. Say we get through the Carabao Cup, we get to a
Hmm.
cup final. What happens in cup finals? Cup finals, the difference in cup finals are those players,
Yeah.
those top level world class players that get you over the line.
Hmm.
I'm telling you now, set piece FC is not going to get us to win this Premier League. It
You
can
don't
help
think
us in
so?
the cup, maybe,
Bro,
but
who's taking your corners? You have Rice and you have Saka, both with deadly deliveries on corners, right? So at the end of the day,
what happens when
it
that dries up?
well, I don't think it is because that's how like the nature of how you guys play. Even when you mention the pattern of play to right, you're saying it's not direct. You want the overlaps, right? The guy overlaps, and you know you're always trying to get into the box, right?
Yep.
Now, from what I'm seeing, the common theme, the common pattern is Saka on the wing, or even the other winger, right? And you're trying to get into the box. What usually is the result of that?
Corner kick.
There you go, right? So right off the bat, right? You guys are set up in a way to optimize for your strong points, right? To get those guys and deliver those balls in for those corners, which you guys are actually really good at converting into goals, right? So even if it's not pretty on the eyes, right? If that's where you're getting your points, and you see what I'm saying? Like, that's not necessarily. It's like you guys mentioned a few episodes. That's just another thing in your arsenal, right? No point intended. No pun intended. Sorry. So I think on one end, right? Like you can't, because now it's like, yo, that's his philosophy. You see what I'm saying? He's not. I don't think he's gonna switch it. Even when you guys are saying, yeah, this has to happen. Even Ødegaard, right? Strip him of the captaincy, bro. That's not gonna happen this season, right?
Mhm.
You see what I'm saying? Like, let's be real.
Yeah.
So now it's a question of, well, how do these players perform better? Does it mean now we have to get more corners? You see what I'm saying? Um, because in terms, I can tell you right now, bro, I've seen it too many times. A manager is just not gonna switch his style of play. Mind you, in this case, bro, he's been there 6 years, right? He's just not gonna go and then start playing like direct. You see what I'm saying? Like,
Mhm.
right? He's still gonna have the build up, right? You're still gonna see that, slow control, and try to go at it that way, right? It's just you guys gonna have to find a way to be a lot more efficient in the manner that you guys are used to playing.
Yeah, and I hear what you're saying. I hear what you're saying in the sense that like we'll see, right? We're yet to see if his philosophy and this way of playing and the set pieces that we're so good at, if that's going to get us over the line. Right now, that we neither of us can factually answer whether or not that's working or not. So
But
we'll see
it is
if
work. It is working. If you're dominant, bro. If you've never lost in the Champions League, right? I
mhm.
think you guys are 7 for 7.
Mm-hmm.
Potentially an 8 for 8. You're competing on all fronts. Then you could say that with that system is definitely working.
Right, and so let's talk strictly Premier League for a second because funny enough, ironically enough, we actually look better in open play in the cup competitions. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so if we're talking strictly Premier League for a minute, it's working up to this point. That's why I can't say yet factually whether it works or not because we haven't. If it gets us a trophy, or if it gets us a Premier League crown, then yes. But up to this point, it's working. But again, recency bias. The last 3 games,
Hmm.
when the set pieces don't work, again, 2 draws and a loss, right? Two
Hmm.
blanks in front of goal prior to today, and then so it's kind of like we're not trending in an upward trajectory, right? It's now trending in a concerning way where it's like shit. Again, 2 draws, 0-0, and then a loss, right?
Hmm.
And tough games to come. So you can't afford to waste 90 minutes, right, in the Premier League, in this modern day version of the Premier League. So the last 3 games where we're trending in a concerning direction, I can now say that something is not it's not working. Something else needs to change. And what needs to change, in my opinion, is I'm not saying that we play for set pieces, right? I'm not saying that that's what we rely on. Like I'll be the first to defend that we clearly that's kind of that's stupid, right? We don't say we are set piece FC and that's the only thing we play for and that's our tactic. It's just that we're good at them, right? But we need to find other things to be good at. We need to find other ways to impose on the opposition. And it needs to be more direct. It needs to be more than just overlap, get the ball at the wingers, the fullback overlaps or Ødegaard overlaps on the right, get the ball down the line, cut into the box on the byline. Like, it needs to be a little bit more than that. I mean, it needs to be more variation, to be honest with you. And even if that includes, dropping Ødegaard, like that's also what I mean. Not stripping him of captaincy, but dropping him. He needs to hold bench for a bit. And Eze needs to come into the team. Shit, we saw another guy that we put on loan just yesterday, Ethan Wanyeri, score the type of goal that we've been begging our attacking midfielders to score. I don't know if you guys saw that. Ethan Wanyeri is on loan now at Marseille, and he scored in his first start, and he scored the kind of goal that Cunha scored today, right? Or driving through midfield, somebody just have a pop. Even the goal that Dorgu scored today, somebody just have a shot or have a pop from the top of the 18, right? Or just be a little bit more direct. You don't need to be cute and just walk the ball into the 18-yard box, or use your corner kick prowess or set piece prowess to get you over the line. Like someone just do something different, right? And I think it starts with getting Ødegaard out of the team. Just someone who's more direct. Eze is a little bit more direct. Look at the quality of their goals today versus our goals. Like somebody just have a pop. You need that little bit of quality to just somebody just have a dig. Somebody just be brave. Take more shots. And get your strikers more touches in and around the box. Our strikers have limited touches in games, whether it's Jesus, whether it's Gyökeres, because we don't play through to our strikers. We don't play direct enough, right? So all that to say is, I understand what you're saying, Laurent, and in the sense that it's working up to this point, which it is because we're still top of the league, but the points gap is closing and we're winless in 3. So something needs to change quickly before this continues to trend in the wrong direction. You see what I'm saying? And I'm talking specifically Premier League, because Premier League is a different ballgame to the other cup competitions, And so the last thing I want to say before we move on is reactionary. I understand, and you did say this to us earlier. Chill. Maybe reactionary after one game. The problem is with us and Arsenal fans, it's not one game. It's 6 seasons of Arteta. It's 20 years of not winning the Premier League. So that PTSD kicks in of like, we've been here before. It's that Man City team, although they're not the Man City of old. Pep Guardiola is still there. Holland's still there. It's the same guys who are chasing us. So we have in the back of our mind, every time we drop points, that shark behind us is coming. They're chasing us. It's not just your average Joe team chasing us. This is Man City. So yes, it's one game, but the PTSD kicks in if you've been supporting this club. As Arsenal fans have, we've been there. We've seen us throw away, leads, so to speak. So it's where we have to flag these concerns when they come up, because the PTSD will kick in straight away. So it's not just the one game. It's over the course of years now. We've been through this. So whilst we're still in a good position, I think discussions need to be had within the club, the coach, the captain, the team, and those changes need to be made quickly, because this lead, as we're seeing, will quickly evaporate, right? 1 week we could be 11, 12 points clear. Another week now we're only 4 points clear,
A team that's definitely changed their tactics and the way that they're playing. West Ham picking up another good victory, back-to-back wins against Sunderland at home this time. They did nudge it a little bit closer, but Forest was able to win, beating Brentford to keep the gap at 5. So it's not a lot of movement at the bottom of the table. Everyone, everything just kind of stays status quo. But West Ham, two wins in a row. Forest, 3 out of 5. So things are starting to move, and West Ham could be, if Leeds drop points tomorrow, West Ham could be 5 points behind both Leeds and Forest. So good 3 points for West Ham. Fulham, man, Harry Wilson, CJ. I don't know if you have him in your fantasy football. I have him.
Yeah.
92nd minute winner. So my boy that you gave me so much stick for, Marco Silva, he is currently in 7th place, 4 points off top 4, 3 points off top 5, and 2 points off top 6. So they are definitely making a push for a European spot, and good for them. From where they started, they were, you guys were saying that they might be relegated, and hey, they're doing well. And Brighton's no slouch, eh? Like Brighton's a good side.
Hmm.
Um, so Harry Wilson definitely he's been on a tear. Laurent, it's been like 3 weeks, I would say, that we've been trying to predict this man sacking.
Hmm?
Dropped 2 points against Burnley.
Shambolic.
Shambolic is right. Um, Here's another prediction. Is this Thomas Frank's last days? He's got Frankfurt midweek, winless in 5 in the Prem, 3 draws, 2 losses. Currently sitting on 28 points, 8 points out of a relegation spot.
Mm.
Thomas Frank loses against Frankfurt. He's gone or he stays? Yes or no?
Dude, I swear I said he'd go if he
You did say that. You said if he
and
doesn't pick up all 3 points, he's gone.
and he's still here.
And he's still here.
Oh my gosh, man.
Yo, CJ said Arteta has some voodoo magic on the Cronkies. Yo, Thomas Frank has some voodoo magic against Vinay.
No, for real, man, for real, because I don't even know how to explain it anymore. I don't know if you guys have an explanation for it. Apart from that, right? That
Bro,
that's one
it's
element.
the chewing, it's the over exaggerated.
It-
You
Yeah,
know,
no, but you said Frankfurt? That's
Frankfurt midweek. They need a if they win, they progress in top 8. If they draw or lose, if they draw, things need to go their way. If they lose, they don't get top 8.
okay, so it's more so whether they get top 8 or not, right?
Correct, and that's huge. Missing out on 2 games for a small club like that, that's huge.
Okay, so you don't, let's say you don't get top 8 and
He's
you bring,
gone.
but then you bring a new one, hoping to save your Champions League campaign, right? Potentially, and then even try to make something with the Premier League. Mm, mm, yeah. You know what? I'm gonna say no. I'm gonna say he's gonna find a way to save.
Wow, I think we should have kept track of this. This would have been
Yeah,
funny to keep track of.
yeah, no, for real, for real. But I do think okay, because right now 3 points separates them from 17th place in the Premier League. Because I think Forest has 25,
Yes,
right? And that's let me check the table real quick.
yeah,
Yeah,
they're
that's the
they're
17th spot. Yeah.
yes, and they face Man City next.
Okay, so I mean, okay, they have the goal difference. So even if they don't win and Forest wins, right? They still will be 16th, assuming those other results for those other teams don't go the whole way. But I think that could be a sackable offense at that point.
Okay,
And it should be. I would say it should be.
okay.
Now, but if he's still there, then voodoo is the only
Voodoo magic, some Danish voodoo.
yeah, for real, for real.
Man
Can I ask
City.
you guys a
Oh,
can I ask you
sorry,
guys a
sorry.
quick question? I have a quick question for you guys. So you guys have been seeing the Champions League table, right? And I think I even saw you guys talk about this in the group chat while I was away. How well the English teams are doing in the Champions League
Hmm?
at the moment, despite the fact that some of these sides have been performing poor in the Premier League. But I think last time I checked, the table could have shifted around. Um, there's like 4 or 5 English teams in and around the top 8, top 10. We can even check the table now to
Five
verify.
teams. Man City is the only one that's out of it, but Man City is tied for sixth spot. It's
Mm.
just goal differential.
Right. So where I'm going with this is we've talked about, and I think what Thomas Frank was keeping Thomas Frank in a job probably is the fact that they somehow have a decent Champions League campaign so far. I think they're ahead of PSG, which is fucking crazy considering their Premier League form. Right. When you consider Tottenham below par in the Premier League, Newcastle pretty much below par in the Premier League, Chelsea, right? Obviously, they've been turnover this season, change of manager. Some would say, most would say, a little bit underwhelming so far up to this point in the season. Yet all those sides I just mentioned, right? Chelsea, Newcastle, Spurs, all in and around good positions in the Champions League. Obviously, Arsenal's doing what they're doing in the Champions League. despite the fact that I said we're stumbling over the line and don't look convincing in the Premier League, we sure as hell look convincing in the Champions League. So what is it about the Champions League right now, that the English clubs are continuing to do well in? And do you guys actually think this puts to bed? I think that conversation about the Premier League being poor and the quality of the Premier League. I'm not sure if you guys have heard those things come out recently. Oh, the quality of the Premier League this year is shit because of all the draws. You see all types. Everyone drops points from top to bottom, right? Top team will play bottom team. It's a lot of draws. Top teams are underperforming. So the quality of the Premier League this year apparently is shit, right? And that's what people use to kind of, I heard Rio Ferdinand say it today that Arsenal is lucky to be top of the table so far this season because all the other teams are shit. Man City's poor. Chelsea, United aren't performing to the same standard, whatever. So, Arsenal's lucky to be top spot because all the other teams are below par. Well, and I never subscribed to that, right? I'm going to stay consistent because last year when people were saying Liverpool won the league because everyone else was poor, I don't stand on that, right? If you win the Premier League, you deserve it. Same thing with Leicester 2016 when they won. All the other teams were poor, but Leicester took advantage, right? So somebody took advantage of a below par poor league, right? So I don't subscribe to that stuff. And Rio Ferdinand talking his shit after United beat Arsenal today, saying, "Oh, Arsenal's lucky that they're still even have a points gap because the rest of the league has been shit." I don't subscribe to that. But where I'm going with this, boys, is the fact that maybe in the Premier League, a lot of the top sides aren't performing, right? Newcastle, Chelsea, Spurs, the likes. In Europe, we're doing well. So does that put to bed all that nonsense about the fact that the English sides aren't as good because the Premier League isn't as good of a product as it has been in the past, right? The Premier League teams aren't really as good as, you can see that with the results this season for all the top sides. I mean, the fact that those top sides are performing in Europe at the moment, right? What do you guys think about all that? Like, does that put that nonsense to bed? I don't know, just an open discussion I've been hearing. I just want to get your guys' thoughts on that.
For me, no, doesn't put it to bed until
Really?
until we see who's in the semis and who gets to the finals. Yeah, no,
Hmm.
That's true.
no,
I mean, even I think okay, I see what you're saying.
because again, it's the
Last
same. Sorry, just one thing to add to it. It's the same discussion with Arsenal, right? Like these players are amazing players, but for them to put to rest bottlers, all this nonsense, you got to get it over the line. And with the fact that the Premier League does have the most funds, you would imagine that this would be a regular occurrence.
okay. I mean, it's a fair point. I think as of recently, Man City has been the representative for the Premier League in European competition.
Yeah.
Right in terms of obviously winning the competition itself. But I will, well, especially with this season, um, and I feel like even as of late, there does seem to be a resurgence in terms of consistency of performance with Premier League sides in this competition, right? And having the numbers to represent England in the later rounds. You see, as the competition
Mhm.
progresses, which I think does show something, right? Yes, maybe, right? I mean, you had obviously a French side win it last year, um, but you still have like those spots being occupied, right? Mostly by Premier League teams, right? Around the 16s and whatnot. So now, obviously, yes, it just comes down to having those teams win it. But I think the consistency is a start because to not even have in this case, right? If we look at it right now, let's say this week or next week it ends as is. That's what, eight Premier League sides guaranteed, and then you have one French side, one Spanish side, and a German side, right? So on that end, their clubs, right? Or yeah, their clubs for their countries. It's not the opposition, right? They don't have the level required to be able to progress. You see what I'm saying? So you can argue now, even you make the argument that okay, now the Bundesliga looks like it's probably overrated, right? It's only
Mm.
Bayern that's dominating in that league, right? which is why those other teams they come in and they're not able to make it out to the later stages. Um, so yeah, resurgence for sure though,
Huh.
in my opinion.
Um, Man City hope that this will be a resurgence. They beat Wolves 2-0. I did message you guys. I said they didn't look convincing. Yes, they won 2-0. Yes, Ron, you posted that statistics that they dominated. There's just something just doesn't still look right. Maybe it was just because it was Gay's first game and he doesn't have those relationships built yet. But Holland was dropped. Marmoush started. And I think it was, unfortunately, I think it was a good call by Pep just to give Holland rest because he's been looking leggy. So,
Mm.
and they definitely need to win in the Champions League to make it almost certain that they'll go through. And if they win and some results go their way, they may stay in the top eight. So, good result for them. And they put the pressure on us, and now they're 4 points after the world was crashing down after last weekend. So, um, yeah,
I have to say, like, I'm so annoyed that their immediate game after that Bodo Glimt result was Wolves, because if there's any one game that you want to kind of get back on track, it's Wolves at home, right? I feel like if it was almost any other team, um, you could have predicted them dropping points again this weekend, because that's a loss to United last weekend. That's a loss to Bodo Glimt. Um, so if they needed any game to help get them back on track, it would have been Wolves at home. That's the one game anyone can handpick to get yourself going again. It's Wolves at home, right? So this is like, damn, like otherwise I would have continued to see them stumbling. Like I said, if they played any other half decent team in the Prem, I could have,
even if
seen
they
them
played
stumbling
Wolves
again.
away, in my opinion, I
Mm,
think they could have stumbled because the Molyneux they've been playing quite well.
yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't have predicted them to lose, but you could have seen it.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean. I see what you're saying. Like they just look like they're struggling at the moment, and what's annoying now is again maybe like a win. Wolves at home gives them that little bit of false sense of security, right? And even us dropping points gives them that
Yep.
okay, like yeah, we're still in the mix. Like even though I'm not really super convinced by the City side, do you know what I mean? But it's just like psychologically, they're there, right? They're there thereabouts, and it's us truly who's letting them in still. But this isn't the same City side we've seen of the past, right?
Same thing with Liverpool. They lost late to Bournemouth 3-2. Um, there's rumors that the board have been speaking with Javi Alonso, and the seats getting warmer and warmer for Slot. And I think similar to Thomas Frank, I think the only thing that's keeping Slot in the seat is the fact
Champions
that they're top four in the Champions League. And I think with their last game, even if I think if they get a point, it'll be close. But if they get a win, they're automatically through. So in the top eight. So he definitely, definitely the pressure is on there, and they've dropped in the Premier League. They're what? They're sixth. They're sixth place on 36 points. They're still within striking distance of top four. 2 points behind United in fourth, but does not look good for them. Mr. Piana, time for you. 3-1 Palace. Oliver Glasner looks like he's just waiting for the sack. Um, is this the performance that you wanted to see?
I mean, it was better. It was definitely it was better, and mind you, that was looking like a clean sheet,
Mm.
a very solid clean sheet. Until obviously, right, we conceded, but Sanchez, man, solid, 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 solid. I'm not gonna lie, I like the guy. I like the guy because it's not easy, man. It is not easy having to deal with that pressure, right? Obviously, the media, and you made mistakes, but what I'm noticing now is there's a certain level of comfort, especially after those games, right, where he did make those errors. But now, right, seems like Liam's tactics during training, right? We don't wear the gloves on the training pitch because we want to make sure that our players can hear the round of applause that we're giving them as they're
league.
doing great. So Nah, man, it's working. And then Esteval, did you guys get the chance to see that run?
I saw
Uh,
one of his goals. Yeah.
yeah,
Oh,
that
he
was
scored one goal, one assist.
yes, and that
Yeah.
goal that he scored was from the halfway line, right? So he made a nice run, right? Good burst of pace. You almost thought he ran it a bit too much to the side there, but the finish was spot on. And that's what I was trying to talk to you guys about, right? About his pattern of play, looking to isolate the wingers, right? That structure. So, man, I'm here for Rose Senior type of ball, bro. I think, with all due respect, Maresca ball, right, has gotten us obviously those two wonderful trophies. But at this point, with the way Rose Senior has us set up, we feel strong in the back. It's almost a reassurance that we have now, and bro, we're firing on all cylinders now in the attack. So yeah, yeah. If he can do this with these players, man, I'm excited to see what happens when he really starts, getting those signings, right? And really showing that he's the manager that he says he is, right?
He,
Manager.
yeah, he ages men.
Yeah. All right. Yeah.
Is the
Well,
sample size still too small though? That's what I'm asking for you to be saying
It's
this.
that sample size is getting bigger by the week, right? Mind you. Okay, so that's 4 wins in 5, right? The only loss was to you guys, if we recall, right? And obviously, I think it was a warranted loss, which I still think he didn't even do too bad. So as far as I'm concerned, he is doing everything he needs to do on his end, right?
Do
Because
you
it would.
consider? I'm sorry. Finish what you're saying.
No, because I would have said it would have been easy, right? You're a new manager, in a league. You don't have the experience, and now, right, you're just not getting the results, right? And you can kind of maybe use that, and then the fans can look to understand. Okay, give him time, but hey, right, that's 4 wins under Maresca. We were winless in 4 or 5. You see what I'm saying? And now Sonny, that's flipped. So yeah, no, I think he just has to keep doing what he's doing.
Okay, so I'm gonna continue to push you on this. Um, and let's dive into the specifics. So 4 wins at five. Well, who were those 4 games? One was Pathos, right? One was a bang out of form Crystal Palace side. The other one was it Charlton in the FA Cup?
Hmm.
And then who was the last one? Probably another Premier League
Bournemouth.
game.
Sorry,
Bournemouth,
Brentford. Yeah,
Brentford.
Brentford.
Brentford, Brentford, which is a good win against Brentford at home. So yeah, I mean, again, if we dissect those games, would one say those are all games that Chelsea were expected to win,
Of course. But now, right?
regardless of who the manager is?
Listen, do you know how many of those type of games we had under Maresca that we were expected to win, right? And that we just simply could not win. And
Mhm.
that to me is a key point here, right? Is that he's able to edge out those results, and especially that Brentford game where our performance was not the best. But somehow we were able to get those results, right? And we look, what I would say, we look good in the back, right? Suddenly it's like I'm not too worried um, about our defensive laps, right? I think Badiashile had like one mistake, which actually could have cost us early in the game, and
Mm.
Mateta, I guess you could say he mishit it, but Sanchez made the save. Um,
Mm.
but yeah, so apart from that, um, our next test is
Napoli.
yes, Napoli, yes.
That will be a just, yeah, for sure.
But I think the professor, that is Liam, will be able to.
Uh, please.
Apparently he listen. The word around town is that when he was young, he used to stay up late night, or try to, like, because his dad was a footballer as well. But essentially, he showed his prowess for managerial, abilities at a young age, right? And he'd stay up late night trying to create different patterns of play, right? All of this, right? So he seems to have like wanted to do this, from birth, right? So I think Arteta has another potential genius that
Mm.
if he stays in that league, that he can compete with, right? So yeah, we'll see.
Um, Aston Villa, good win. I think this is actually a very good win because they played in Turkey Thursday and they came back, went to St. James's Park, won 2-0. Keeping it close for them, 4 points still from the top of the table. Um, Good win. That's all I can say. It's a good win. Um, we did touch on the Forest game, keeping it 5 points from West Ham, and tomorrow we got Leeds heading to Merseyside to face Everton. Um, Everton actually
What?
with a win they can jump to seventh. So um, that's yeah, it's gonna be a big game for
Murder, quick question about Villa. Is it time to start taking them seriously now as an Arsenal fan?
them. No, no, unfortunately,
Hmm.
no. I just don't. I no, no, because Bruno Guimaraes was out and Newcastle haven't looked good in the Prem. No,
But that's still a big win, man. I swear yeah,
at
this
St
was away
James's
for
Park.
them.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was
plus
at St.
you had I swear you had Newcastle predicted to win this one, no?
I did 100% because I thought the Thursday night being in Turkey was gonna have an impact and it didn't. So I'm not taking anything away from the game. I'm just saying,
Mm.
is it time to take them seriously? No. I think I would rather take Man City more seriously because having Antoine Semenyo and Mark Gahey is going to solve a lot of issues for them. Whereas Villa, I just don't think they have enough. They're I know everyone's one injury away, but like truly Villa are one major injury away, and their whole season's gonna start to fall apart. They
Who
do
would that
have
one injury be for you? Because they have Kamara, who's apparently been like their Declan Rice in midfield. So far the season, he's injured till the rest of the
mhm.
season now. It was a big loss for them.
I
So, but who are you considering as
from
that
that
one player?
aspect, I think they can manage. It's more so like from the attacking aspect. I think Morgan Rogers is who's been taking their midfield and attacking. Sorry, connecting the back line to the attack. Um, and I think if he gets injured for an extended period of time, I think they're going to struggle to create chances and create goals because in this game you saw it as well, right? Like he just that it factor that you're talking about that Arsenal don't have, that just a
Mhm.
player that takes the game from the scruff of the neck. That's what Morgan Rogers is. That's what he's been doing, right? To get his
Mhm.
international call up as well. Like, um, so for me, that's who it would be. Because I think from other areas, I think Unai Emery is smart enough to be able to fill those gaps. But losing Jalen Ramsey, no, Jacob Ramsey, Jalen Ramsey from NFL, Jacob Ramsey to Newcastle, I think that's a blow for them. Um, they did apparently sign someone. I forgot who they signed, but
They recalled Bailey from loan.
yeah, but I
Leon
think
Bailey.
Morgan Rogers would be that person for me.
Mhm.
Um, Quickly so we can get this pod out for the people. They can hear us roasting ourselves. Couple big games in the not big games I would say, but games that can actually have a lot of impact on the Champions League table. Like CJ was saying, a lot there is a lot of Premier League sides. Um, Actually, all the Premier League sides are within the top eight, aside from Man City. So we got Arsenal first place, Liverpool fourth, Spurs fifth, Newcastle seventh, and Chelsea eighth. City are on 11th, but they are tied for sixth spot on 13 points. Goal differential is what causes them to be in 11th spot. Liverpool, they're hosting Karabakh uh, at Anfield. Um, I mean, on the game itself, I think Liverpool should win. Should win. But the talking point from this game is, will Arnie Slot be on the bench or not? Yes or no?
For this game, yeah.
Laurent?
Wait, what do you mean he'll be on the bench?
Like, will he be managing this game or will he be sacked?
Oh, yeah, yeah, no, yeah, he'll be managing.
Okay. And I'm assuming He wins, continues to go on, but if he loses, there may be a chance that Xabi Alonso comes in.
Oh, so if he loses,
Because it's not in the because I was talking about it with a few Liverpool fans this weekend. It's not the culture of Liverpool to rinse and repeat, and I
Yeah.
think that part is what's keeping Arnie Slot in his job. However, there has been a lot of rumors from the beginning of the season that Arnie Slot has questioned Richard Hughes, which sorry, yeah, Richard is it Richard Hughes, their sporting director, um, about the Isak signing. So there is tension there,
mhm.
and there was tension with Rio and what's that kid's name? I forgot his last name. Ngoba.
Yes, yeah,
You
yeah,
know what I'm
the
talking about?
winger,
If I'm
yeah, the winger.
Yeah, I'm butchering his last name because Slot wanted another winger, but Liverpool um, like to develop their young talent. So there is tension between Slot and Richard Hughes. So from that aspect, like you know, I think there is something there, but I think again, what's holding Slot in his role is the fact that this is not Chelsea. This isn't a team that's reactionary. Sorry, and I do agree with you both. I think Slot will be on the bench, and I think Slot should be. As much as I hate him, I think he should be on the bench for the rest of the season, no matter the result. Um, Waiting for a wow, you're defending Slot. No, no, no
No,
takers.
I just think that if this guy doesn't even get top four, top five, if top five is Champions League in the Premier this season, yeah, man, like that's I mean, what kind of season is that, bro? That's probably one of the worst title defenses in recent memory, in the sense that you spent all that money. Yes, I understand, there's been eruptions and Salah's been away in AFCON, and Isaac, your record signing, is injured for a hot minute, but like, forget winning the league, because I predicted them obviously to win the league, as you guys know. Forget winning the league being a failure, or not winning the league being a failure. But currently they're sixth in the Prem. If they don't get Champions League football, like, what do we even say, bro? They should get the brunt of all banter and criticism, because that's just a disgrace.
Just
And
God's.
it would prove you right, probably, honestly. It would prove you right. Let's be real. If that happens.
I'll come with my poster. I was right. Um, Newcastle, huge game in Parc des Princes. They're facing PSG. Both teams on 13 points. Both teams 10 goal differential. Identical records. PSG just scored more goals. Um, Essentially win and you're guaranteed a top 8 spot. Lose and you're probably gonna play two extra games, and a draw is not good enough for either team. So, if you are tuning into a game like I think that's gonna be the game of the week, PSG Newcastle, um, because this is a competition where if Newcastle go far, it's gonna open up their bankroll and they're gonna be able to do stuff. But there is concerns about Bruno Guimaraes and he may have an injury, so who knows what that's going to look like for them in the midfield and who Eddie Howe's going to turn to. We did quickly chat about this. Chelsea heading to Napoli to face their old boss Antonio Conte. Um, Again, same context. Uh, Chelsea need to win. A draw or a loss is not enough, and Napoli need to win because Napoli are currently sitting on 8 points in 25th spot. If they win, depending on how the other results go, they can get into the playoff round, and from there anything can happen. So Laurent,
Sorry, you're saying Chelsea need to win in terms of top eight, right?
top eight,
Oh,
yes.
okay.
Sorry, yeah,
Yeah, I mean, in addition to that, with the highest margin that we can obtain, um,
yeah.
of victory, because Barcelona is right on our tail, tied with them in terms of points, and we do not want to find ourselves in a situation where
Goal
obviously they
differential.
get through, yeah, with goal difference. So,
To be honest with you, if you guys win, I can't see it being a big like a big win. Napoli, like Italian sides aren't known for giving up a lot of goals, and Antonio Conte, like yeah, I don't see that happening. I mean, Barcelona's facing Copenhagen doesn't help.
Hmm.
I do, unfortunately, I do think you guys squeeze a win out.
Hmm.
But I wouldn't bet on it.
Well, yeah, no. Well, we'll see. What I'm hoping for though is that at the end of the game, the handshake between the two managers can be cordial. We don't get a repeat
There's
of
one
what.
manager and one coach. Stop speaking out of term, bro. Come on.
Yeah, yeah. Rose Senior is who I'm referring to here. But yeah, no. Yeah. So that's for you on Antonio Conte. Once that full-time whistle blows, right? Try to treat our guy with the deserved respect and not the same animosity you showed Tuchel. Um, if you guys remember that one.
Of
So.
course, who can forget?
Mhm.
Who can forget? Um, Spurs, same thing. They head to Frankfurt. They Spurs, not that they need a win, but a win, and they're pretty much guaranteed top eight. Lose, and who knows what can happen. Frankfurt, they have nothing to lose. They're on 4 points. Whether they win or lose, they're not getting into the playoff round. So um, they may play free, they may just go for it, and they may cause Spurs problems, or Spurs may take it like advantage. Like I don't know. Like Spurs are the oddest team in the world right now. They beat Dortmund. They win games that they're on paper not supposed to. Then they draw against Burnley.
Mm.
Like if you're a Spurs fan, what do you even say? You know. Um, so and then lastly, before we get to Arsenal, Man City, um, again, they win. They need a couple of results to go their way because of goal differential. But if they win, they can go into the top eight. They're playing at home against Galatasaray. Again, Galatasaray is no slouch, but with the fact that they rested Holland and the fact that they're coming off a decent win at home against Wolves, they should win. Um,
It's gonna be an interesting battle. Gehi and Osimhen, right? I assume
yep.
is um yeah, no. I think that'll be a test for the both of them. But if I'm being real, I do think City get over the line.
And the thing is, Galatasaray is on 10 points. Like they also do need like points in this game. They can't afford a loss because depending on how the results go, like a loss could mean the end of their Champions League run. So they're like the way that this format is right now, and I'm very glad where we're sitting, Arsenal. Right, like this game, last game against Carriot, they haven't won a single game. They've given up 19 goals. We just need 1 point, a singular point, to guarantee home advantage throughout the uh, our entire run.
Are you
Like,
guys expecting? Oh, sorry, are we covering this game now?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay. So are you guys expecting a solid performance, despite the fact that you really don't really need anything apart
I
from that
think
point?
you will. I think you'll see a fully rotated side. Um, and solid is a loose word. For me for this game, I think what you will see is a solid performance at Leeds next week because we're going to Ellen Road and we have to be on our game because Leeds have taken points from top sides at Ellen Road. For this game, eh, just get it over the line. You know,
Mm.
like play free, rest some players. Um, like just go out there, have fun, try to put behind that game against United, and go perfect if you can in the league phase. right? The lineup that I have is Raya, White, Mascara if he is healthy, and I believe he is healthy and back. Gabriel MLS. Norgard comes in the midfield with Eze Marino, and then Madueke, Gyökeres, Martinelli. I don't know, CJ, if you have anything to add to this game. There isn't really much to say.
Oh, David Raya, you have starting this on? Surely Kepa plays this game.
Or Kepa, sure. For me, I don't. I fully rotate it. Sure.
Yeah, man. I would rotate all 11 players, um, with all due respect to our opposition on the day. But yeah, I mean, am I expecting performance? Not really. I honestly, I can't wait till the next Premier League game. I wish the next Premier League game was tomorrow because that's where my kind of focus is for us to put it right. This one should be a 3-point banker. Again, even if we get a draw, it's we secure top of the table for the league phase. But yeah, I mean, yeah. So it's hard to expect anything. Like what am I expecting? Like, will I look at this game and see, okay, if we win the game and there's a good performance, does that stand us in good stead for the rest of the season in all competitions? No, I'm not gonna really put too much emphasis on it either way because the opposition that we're playing, the fact that it's kind of almost technically a dead rubber in terms of the result and there's no jeopardy on it. I expect a fully rotated side. That's for sure. I would rotate all 11 players, give players some minutes, give the likes of Eze, right? Those guys a chance to get a run out. Because as much as we talk about Ødegaard and him needing to be dropped, the guys that need to show something in his place need to come in and perform, right? So Eze and those players who come in, they'll have to show something against Karat in order to get in the Premier League side on the weekend. So yeah, no. This it's literally just going to be going through the motions for this game, as far as we're concerned. Let me just say something real quick. I credit to the boys, right? We've talked about criticizing Arsenal in the Premier League and how difficult that's proving for us at the moment, but our Champions League campaign has been phenomenal, honestly. To beat Bayern Munich at home, obviously, who aside from us is the best team in Europe at the moment, right? The standings show that as well. Atletico Madrid, we dealt with them the way we did throughout this league, the group league campaign. Inter Milan, at the San Siro, like they're top of their league, I think, at the moment, if they still are.
Mm-hmm.
And Serie A, to put three past them, right? A good structurally Italian defensive side, go to their ground and look convincing the way we have. Like we have done really well this Champions League campaign, so I have to give credit to the boys for that. This is the competition where we've looked more convincing than any other, more convincing than the Premier League, even for me. Just because, again, of the way we've played and a lot of our open play goals have come. The good goals that we've scored from open play have come in this competition. It's not just been set pieces in this competition. So, we have to give credit to them for that. And it's funny, we talk back and forth about which competition would we rather win and where do we look better in and so on and so forth. If you ask me, gun to my head today, which competition I prefer, Arsenal winning, we haven't gotten in Premier League in a while. I understand that's been 20 plus years and whatnot, and we've been so close for the last 3 years. But again, you ask me still what competition I want to win the most this season, still probably the Champions League. We haven't won the Premier in a long time, but we haven't won the Champions League ever. And so if Arsenal were to win a Champions League, then we complete the set. It's like the Avengers, the guy who gets all the Infinity Stones. We finally completed the set. No one can say anything to us once we get that, So for me, that's just
hold it right there, right? You're still missing
here we go.
there's one that comes even after the Champions League, right? And officially, so yes, you will be on your way, but there's still one more, right? And you guys know that one, right, that you're missing because we
Conference
have.
League?
Yeah, the Conference League. How could I forget?
Oh, I wasn't even alluding to that one, right? I'm alluding to the one that.
Oh, really?
Yeah. You need to win the Champions League, and then you get to that one. Yeah. But
Anywho, Conference League talk is over. Surely everyone's saying Arsenal for our predictions.
Yep.
CJ, you're falling behind. Laurent has officially taken over, tied on 53 points with me.
Yeah, I checked that, bro. I said, "Raw, what's going on since I've been on vacation, bro? Did you
Yeah.
guys rig the results? What's happening here?"
We did. We definitely did.
That's crazy. I need to get on my shit again.
Chelsea Napoli. Seeing as you are at the bottom of the leaderboard, Mr. CJ. What say you? Chelsea Napoli.
Chelsea, Napoli.
Both teams need a win. Draw is not good enough for Napoli. They need a win. Chelsea need. I mean, Chelsea draw is not good enough either. I guess.
Chelsea, Napoli. Who's home? Oh, Napoli's home.
Yeah.
Um, dang, that's a tough one. I'm gonna go. Hmm. I'm gonna say. This is tough. I mean, Chelsea. They only need a win to stay in the top eight, but Napoli need it more than anything else. I'm gonna say. I'm gonna say. Damn, this is tough.
Oh.
I'm gonna say draw. Actually, nah. I'm gonna say Chelsea. Actually, no. I'm gonna say draw. Fuck it. I'll stick with a draw.
Laurent, Chelsea. You gonna say Chelsea?
Yeah, honestly, listen. I was actually contemplating saying draw. For real, because I think this could be a game where we draw. However, for the same reasons why I gave Villa the win last season, I mean, sorry, last week. If you remember my
Mm-hmm.
reasoning for that, I'm using the same logic here. And in the Professor we trust, a Chelsea win it is.
Cool.
Uh,
CJ, I'm copying you. I think it's this game has draw written all over it, all over it. Napoli lost today 3-0 to Juventus.
oof.
Champions League, they
Hmm.
haven't been they've been drawing a lot, and at home, they haven't been giving up much. In the last couple of games, it was like 1-0 win or 1-1 draw. So I think Antonio Conte is gonna um, just take the piss out of the game, and it's gonna be a boring game to watch.
Oh,
Um,
he's gonna play what, like a low block or something?
yeah, I think he's gonna play a low block and try to get you guys on the counter. Last game to predict: PSG hosting Newcastle. Um, I got PSG winning this game. Sorry, I'm
Yeah,
going a little out of
PSG.
order.
I agree with that. PSG.
Yeah, and PSG as well.
PSG as well. Um, Question for you guys: if we think that the Arsenal game is a moot point, shall we switch it for Spurs Frankfurt? Spurs traveling to Germany to make it more interesting, or just keep it the way it is?
Honestly, man, being at the top, I will allow those who are currently at the bottom to
Wait,
decide.
Laurent's winning?
No, he's tied with me.
Yeah,
Oh, so what the yo?
be, being being at the top, bro.
That's crazy.
Yeah, man. So, what say you, CJ? You want to switch out this game?
Because as it stands right now, if CJ, you and I get everything right, you'll be ahead of Laurent by 1 point.
No, I'd be level, wouldn't I? I'd be level
No,
with
because he's predicting Chelsea and you're predicting draw.
yeah. So if I get
Oh,
mine right, he
sorry, yeah,
gets
you'd
his
be level
level.
on Laurent. My apologies.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. Well, the band is back together. Um, we're getting close to episode 100. We're getting close to figuring out if it's going to be another year of disappointment or a year of elation. And Mr. Piana is wearing our new gear,
Our new
um,
merch for
our
those
new
watching.
merch. Um,
Feels
comes in
nice.
comes in white, comes in black. We're gonna work on trying to get that merch out. So if you're interested, hit us up on our DMs and we can definitely talk to you about the pricing. But we're back. The trio is back. And let's hope for a better game in midweek. What I would love to leave you guys with is if you are in the GTA area, drive safe, stay warm. Um, and while you are having a snow day, you know, pop the podcast on YouTube, on Spotify, hit that hit that subscribe, hit the bell. Just give us a listen. You know, you might have found your new home. Just hearing three fellas, three boys chatting about something they love. Who knows? And if you don't like it, well, we'll kick Laurent off, and then you'll like the pod even more.
Ha ha. Yeah. 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 You wish. You wish. You wish.
Oh
Listen,
shit!
I bring in those, those that are anti Arsenal, right? That listens to the pod. It is due to me, and we I bring him here because I allow the other voices to be heard. Um, right? Not only from those at the Emirates, um,
Mm.
because that can get pretty irritating if we're all being completely real with ourselves. So yeah, man.
One thing that won't get irritating, and we'll leave it off with this, is the fact that every week, twice a week, we're gonna come at you with a new pod and new info. So stay
Mm,
tuned, hit that like, hit that subscribe, and we'll be back with more.
let's get it.
Adios.